So there was a whole lot of drama with regards to, no, you have to write the SAT first, you have to do this. So we had a lot of hurdles. And a lot of universities, when they looked at that, it's either they knew what we were talking about or they didn't. And they were like, well, this isn't a recognized matric certificate. So that really complicated life, And then eventually, when you do get in, you kind of have to work that much harder, because now you don't necessarily want to only rely on your matric results because of all those questions.
Welcome to another episode of Sisters in Conversation. I'm your host, Daveyton. I'm an attorney by profession and the founder of Sister-in-Law, which is a platform dedicated to empowering women through legal education. On today's episode, I'm joined by Mbali Ngcobo and Precious Maolana. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you for having us. I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm good.
Yeah, so today, in the spirit of Youth Month, I've invited the babies in my life. And I thought it would be such a nice, yeah, we need youngsters, basically, because before you seasoned professionals, you have to start somewhere. And for me, this is a special episode because one of my babies, who was a candidate attorney in 2020, and I interviewed her here. She's now just been promoted to senior associate. Wow. So I can't wait to see y'all's journey as my new cohort of mentees. Zama Shoba was once on this show, and she's doing great things as someone who started as a CA when she first came to the show. Yeah. And in 5 years' time, that's where I see you guys. I see you guys being, senior associates in big firms and all of that. So thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you for having us, Sister Bill.
Yeah, no, it's honestly such an honor to be here. Like, this platform, I've been following the platform since 2020. So
you guys have been here, Shem.
Yeah, no, it's really like incredible.
Yeah. Well, good. It means that there is great potential. You guys already know the caliber of women who are on the show. Yeah. So you've got big shoes to fill. No pressure.
True.
No pressure.
Hey. Yeah.
But let's take it back to the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves? Precious, I'm going to start with you. What was your upbringing like, your childhood? Any fond childhood memories that you want to share with us?
Okay. I grew up in Daveyton. Mm-hmm. I'm a firstborn, so you already know that the pressure.
Deputy mom.
Exactly. But honestly speaking, my childhood was very lovely. Even though the parents didn't have all that, but I didn't see, because whatever it is that I wanted, they would provide for me. And my parents were always supportive. I remember even when I told my mom that I wanted to study law, at first she was scared. But then my dad was like, no, go for it. No. We'll support you. Go for it.
And why was she scared?
Yo, my mom was like, you're going to deal with criminals, because she didn't know that law is broad. Yes. So she was like, you're going to deal with criminals? No ways. What about your safety? You're just a girl, But then after sitting down with her and making her understand, she was like, okay, that's fine. Go ahead. And my childhood was very lovely.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So why did you then want to study law? What inspired you?
What inspired me?
Were you watching Suits or what happened?
Honestly speaking, I grew up watching Judge Judy. So I was always like, wow, what's happening there? I'd really like to see myself there. Wow, she has power, man. Everyone is listening to her. I definitely have to also be in that position. And also another reason the reason that made me study law was I witnessed someone lose their lives in the hands of a policeman. So I was like, wait, isn't there a way in which people can be protected? And I was curious to know how this this problem was going to be solved. So that made me want to study law.
Sure. That is so sad. Yo, Mbali, over to you. Tell us a little bit about your childhood, please, and why did you then decide to study law?
So I'm a firstborn daughter as well, and I grew up in the Val. I also had like a really beautiful childhood, beautiful upbringing. And in fact, like one of my favorite memories is actually when I was staying with my grand for some time, and I remember she used to walk in the kitchen and we used to act like she's like our bride. She used to wear masks, so we'd hold her and all of that. So I genuinely had an amazing childhood. I grew up with my cousin as well. So we got up to mischief. I'm a very like composed person now, but growing up, I was all over the place. And then with regards to law, everyone used to say I talk a lot. So when people say that, naturally you're like, okay, maybe law. But when my dad said maybe you should do law, I think because ultimately we all want to impress our parents and we all want to make them proud. That's when I really decided, okay, it's fine, let me pursue law, you know. But yeah, and the thing is, when I first started applying for varsity and all of that, I actually didn't get accepted anywhere. And then that on its own was a journey. And then eventually when I got accepted to Northwest University, I did one degree and then I changed to law in my following year, right? So even then, it's
And why is that? What degree did you land on, and what made you actually ultimately change?
So I did like a walk-in, and because I was just trying to get into university, right? So I did a walk-in, and then I got accepted for public governance. And then they said it's a good degree to start with because, some of the modules that are in that degree will also be relevant in your law degree. So I did that for a year, and I remember because it was literally, I was like, this is my end, this is my moment, right? I'm going to show that I actually deserve to be here. So I worked hard, got distinctions, like genuinely did my best because I was like, when I actually get to applying for law, I don't want there to be hiccups again, and during that time, I actually achieved Golden Key. And for me then, it was such a big deal because there was someone who came back to our school and they were telling us about their experience in varsity and what they're achieving. And it's always been like, it was a dream of mine then. So when I achieved that during a degree that I didn't necessarily want to do, and then eventually landing up in law, applying for law and then moving to BART to pursue my law degree there, it sort of gave me the confidence I needed to be like, okay, I deserve to be here. I deserve to be in this space. And then, then I did the degree. I got involved in a lot of like student leadership and all of that because I think I just believe that when you have an opportunity, make the most of it, like color it in, like just do all that you can within that space because it's gonna pass,
And looking back, are you able to share why you weren't accepted at the varsities that you had applied to? Was it a thing of your matric results were not up to standard? What was the reason? Or you
Yeah.
applied late?
Yeah, so actually, I was in a curriculum that was not necessary. It wasn't a South African curriculum, like
Okay.
the school I come from. It was a manual private school, so we had what was called the Accelerated Christian Education curriculum. So there was a whole lot of drama with regards to, no, you have to write the SAT first, you have to do this. So we had a lot of hurdles. And a lot of universities, when they looked at that, it's either they knew what we were talking about or they didn't, and they were like, well, this isn't a recognized matric certificate. So that really complicated life, And then eventually, when you do get in, you kind of have to work that much harder because now you don't necessarily want to only rely on your matric results because of all those questions. Now I actually want to rely on, at the time I was relying on my first year results. Like, okay, disregard that because I know you're going to ask me lots of questions. Look at this. I'm trying to demonstrate my capability. So it was tough in that respect. But eventually, like I said, it worked out.
Yeah,
Thank
it worked
God.
out. Precious, yourself, tell us a little bit about the years leading up to varsity.
Okay.
What your varsity experience was.
Okay, so basically I'm a Lokshin girl. I went to primary school, what's this? Khulekano Primary School. It's like, 15 minutes walk away from home, if I'm not mistaken, if not 10 actually. So at school, I was a very vibrant student, learner then. Yeah, and I used to, one of the teachers saw that I was good when it comes to speaking, and then they suggested that I participate in public speaking, and from then, I didn't look back.
Sure.
I never looked back.
Your
When-
face literally lit up when you said that.
yeah, I really love doing public speaking. I remember when I was doing grade 7, I got a trophy for being the best in public speaking at school. So I was like, oh, wow, this is so nice. And then I went to high school. Then we couldn't participate that much in extracurricular activities. The principal was like, no, you study and make sure that you get those level 7s and focus
that's
on school.
interesting. That's hectic.
Yeah,
though.
but then I remember there was a time when one of the teachers there was like, there's a competition and it's for all the other not university.
High schools.
High school. I'm used to university. All the other high school learners to come and participate. It's a public speaking competition. We need someone to come and represent the school. I was like, here I am.
My time.
I know I'm
It's
doing
my time.
physics, but
Yeah.
please give me the chance. And then, they did. And oh my God, I had so much fun. And then from then I was like, I am definitely going to do law. It has to do with speaking. I'm not looking back. And I was a hard worker at school. I used to get level 7s.
Like your principal instructed you to.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
She basically knew all of us. Most of the students, even the parents. So she was like, no, so and so, she's not doing well. She must work hard. We need to, but I really got a really great support from school and the principal, the teachers and stuff. And I remember when it comes to maths and physics, I was not the brightest, but I had people who were there to support me. I had, the school would provide extra classes. I would go, and whenever I would have a question, I wouldn't be afraid to ask. And I would get the assistance that I wanted. So I'd like to say I'm a mixture of both hard work and, hard work and being smart. So whenever there's something that I don't know, I'm not afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I went to varsity. Initially, I wanted to go to UJ, but then they didn't take me for law. And then Verds also didn't take me for law. So it was either I go to Northwest University or I go to University of Limpopo. My dad was like, you don't have any relative in Northwest, so Limpopo.
Okay.
But oh my God, I had the most amazing experience there, honestly speaking. I know it's a university from in the village and stuff, but I felt like I was at home. There was no competition with anyone. I met the most amazing friends, and I remember there was this other friend that I met there at varsity. He told me that, Precious, you don't have to be only focused on getting level 7s or distinctions only. You need to participate in other things as well. That's when I was like, okay, I decided to join Enactus, which is an organization focused on helping us with knowing more about the business and leadership and stuff. And from then, I got to grow from being a member, and then I became a project manager at the organization, and then I also became a finance officer. So that's when I got to learn more about leadership and stuff. So funny how I was able to balance both my school work, my university work, and also pushing when it comes to participating in the
You
other
said your university
activities.
was in the village, so there was no distractions around. So
They were
you were
there.
able to, just on weekends, you were able to study. It's
Yeah.
not like the, UJ kids who'd go to Melville on a
Yeah,
Friday.
I understand.
So that's probably why you were able to. But I think it's also just funny how, your principal was like, focus on school. Then you get to varsity and they're like, you need to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
And then you also get to, start being interviewed for jobs and everyone's like, oh, we want your CV to be well-rounded.
Exactly.
And now you're confused. You're like, okay, I thought I was always told to focus on my academics. And now you guys want me to have been able to have volunteered somewhere and played a little bit of sports, done a little bit of public speaking. What do you guys actually want? So sure, I'm glad that it came full circle for you.
Yeah.
How was your process? Either of you can chip in. Just, learning that after your studies, you still have to get articles or you can do pupillage or whatever. How was that experience? Just transitioning from varsity to starting your first jobs?
Sure. For me, I always had articles in my mind since first year. Because obviously, when I transitioned to a law degree, I had in my mind that I wanted to go to the Big Five and all of that. So I did all my research. I tried to get the marks so that I could back that up. I got involved. Obviously, yes, to be a well-rounded candidate, like within student leadership, but also beyond that, to make sure, like, I was the candidate they choose. Right? But obviously those rejection letters started coming in, and you're like, is this actually gonna work out? And I remember for me, within my final year, it was my final year. Obviously, I've been applying since first year. I'd get an interview, and the interview would go well, but maybe something would happen, and then it would just not happen. So in my final year, I applied. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine, actually. We were serving in the student legal aid. And I was like, so have you gotten anything? And she was like, yeah, I actually got an interview. That day, I was like, actually, no. Like, God is in the room. People are actually getting articles. So there's actually hope to actually, So I was like, no, let me go apply again. Because it does get tiring to constantly apply and get those rejection letters. I applied, and then obviously I'm God's girly. I was like, God, please, hey, I don't want to struggle again. I don't want to go through this process of my story is not linear, or there has to be some testimony that's going to come. And then, I just wanted it to be simple. And so I applied, and then they didn't get back to me for like a month, I think. I went to the second interview, and then when they got back to me, I couldn't believe it, because again, the whole, for 3 years now, 3 and a bit, it's been rejection letters. And then when I finally got accepted, now mentally preparing to finish my degree strong, because you don't want to find Uti, you finish your degree, or you don't, you fail a module or whatever.
Sure.
So for me, then it was that, like, then how am I going to get to the finish line properly, like, and actually start working and, like, entering the workforce,
Sure. Precious?
Well, firstly, I was shocked when I found out that I had to do articles.
Like, what's that? Yeah.
What? Yeah, honestly speaking, I was in a way. I think until second year, when the university was doing workshops, and then law firms would come and
those career days.
Yes. So I was like, so we're supposed to do articles, but obviously it was those big 5 law firms and stuff. But then at the back of my mind, there was articles. We'll see when I'm done.
It doesn't feel like those 2 years will go by quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was me. Even when I was doing my final, I didn't do any VEC work. I didn't do anything.
Just coasting.
I was just school. Get those distinctions.
Hey.
Yes, participate in this and that. The other things we'll see after. That was me.
When the time comes.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then I remember once I was done with final year. Okay, before I was done, we were told that the applications for masters are opened, and I didn't think of applying, but then the people in my circle were like, we are applying.
Masters, yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine, let me apply. Then I applied. So I don't have a reason why I didn't want to, I decided to do masters. It was the people in my circle who were like, we are applying, why don't you apply? Apply. So I was like, okay, it sounds like a good idea. Let me just apply. Yeah, but honestly, I didn't think that I'd be selected. And then we finished final year, and then what happened? Oh yeah, we got the results, and then obviously we couldn't graduate at school because of COVID. And then I remember
hectic. Oh yeah, you guys are babies.
Yeah.
After COVID.
Couldn't graduate because of COVID.
Because of COVID. It was a YouTube slide.
Of course.
You'll see your name there. I was like, oh my God.
Shame, guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and it was sad. It was very sad. But I remember my mom was like, it's okay, I'll pay for you to go to law school. And then I remember we checked the prices. It was 17,000. I was like, yo, that's a lot of money. Luckily, I got that that letter from school, that acceptance letter, the same week. For masters.
So is it now going to be cheaper for you to do your masters than it would have been for you to start with law school?
I got a bursary from school. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, wow. Okay. That's a sign.
So you did your master's
Yeah,
in what?
I did my in labor laws.
Labor law.
Yeah, so yeah, it was hard, but
So tell me about
glad.
when, okay, now you've run out of luck. Your master's is done. Now you need to find articles.
Exactly.
How was that process for you?
honestly, I started applying while I was doing my master's. I don't know. I was not even under pressure to apply for articles. I just remember one day I had a dream, and then this guy wearing a suit came to me and he said, "Yeah, we came to fetch you. Now we can start working." So when I woke up, I was like,
in my dreams, being told to come work.
to come and
Like,
work.
I'm just sleeping, relax.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in the morning when I woke up, I'm like, yo, mama, I had this dream. I think it's time I start applying for articles since everything is virtual anyways regarding LLM and stuff. So she was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'll see. So I applied like I was joking. Honestly,
Not
yeah.
like you were joking.
I was not
You're not
looking.
serious.
I was not serious.
Like, yeah, okay, I hear you.
I was not serious, honestly. But then I would ask here and there my seniors, "How did you apply? What is needed? How must the cover letter look? And stuff like that." And yeah, I would get those advices, and I did what they said I should do. And within a week, I got called for an interview. I was like,
Hectic. This is serious.
this is getting serious. And yeah, I remember I had my network was bad at home. It was bad. The network was very bad. But you know, when something is for you, it's definitely for you. I remember the person interviewing me was like, "No, it's fine. We'll try and interview you over a call or through a call." And I was like, okay, why? It's fine, okay. And then they were like, "Okay, well, let's try and use your WhatsApp because Zoom is not working."
Sure, they
I was
tried.
like, okay, no problem. So, and I remember that one of the questions which they asked was, "Do you know anything about labor laws?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing my master's in labor law." So I think that was a green flag. And then they were like, "Okay, you can come next week. You'll start working."
And that was that.
That was
And
that.
that's how you got into articles.
That's how I got into articles.
Yo.
And I remember when
And I feel like your story is so relatable. I did go to varsity with kids who were like relax, articles.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Why are you going to VAC work? That's so serious, you know? And I worked throughout varsity. So I'd always be that girl on a Friday. I'm like, yo guys, I'm knocking off, I'm leaving campus early because I want to catch my lunchtime shift. I was working in retail. And if I caught my lunchtime shift, it means that I would work from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m., right? So I was always running for that. And everyone around me was always like, this is just way too serious. There were people who were just like, articles, what is that, you know? So I feel like your story is relatable to so many people. And, you know, luck as well. Luck plays a huge role. And I thank that man who came into your dreams to shake things up and tell you that
I was
you
so
need to be
relaxed.
a little bit serious.
Yeah.
So then you graduated your master's
Last year.
and that was a in-person experience. You got to go on stage and everything. How was that?
Amazing. Oh my word.
Look at you.
I was so happy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do go through the videos because they do get posted on YouTube. And then I'm like, oh girl, you looked so relaxed. But deep down, I
You were
was
happy.
I was screaming. I was like, yo. And I remember hearing my mom there screaming, and yo,
Can
she
you
was so happy.
imagine?
And I was like, yeah,
This
I
is
did
it.
that.
This is
I
it.
did that.
Sure.
So,
So given the fact that you know, securing articles was relatively was a good surprise, was a nice surprise and relatively easy for you. How has the articles process in itself been? You know, what have you learned? Because my understanding is that your articles end now in August, correct?
Yes, yes.
How is that? How has these past, I don't even know how many months, 21 months been? Is it 21?
About.
Yeah, I get you're doing 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about 21 now if you're going to be done in August.
Okay. Honestly speaking, as a candidate attorney, you have to always be willing to learn. You don't know everything. They can ask you to do something which to you might seem like something foolish, but trust me, at the end of the day, you'll thank yourself because you would have learned something through whatever it is that you are asked to do. So from my side, it's been an amazing experience. It was tough. It was not easy. It was not a walk in a park.
Which part was not easy? Like,
Which part
can
was
you
not
speak of the
easy?
moments where you were just like, Kana, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Or were you like, I didn't even want this job. Now here I am struggling.
Okay. So I did my articles. Okay, I'm doing my articles in a boutique law firm. So all the focus is on you.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, everyone in the office knows that Precious made a mistake. If you're struggling with something,
Everyone's gonna know.
Everyone is gonna know. So it was like, oh gosh, what am I even doing? Why am I even here? And yeah, I had transitioning from university to having to do articles. It was not easy. I didn't know how the work life is like.
And waking up every day, ne?
And waking up every day.
At the same time.
At the same time, you have to show up whether you like
No
it
time
or
to
not.
take a nap during the day.
Exactly. And I always wanted to be perfect. Anything that I do has to be perfect. So whenever I would make a mistake, let's say for example, the first time when I drafted a letter and I sent it. To me, it was perfect, but then, yeah.
Wait, you sent it to who?
My principal.
Oh, I thought you sent it to client.
My principal.
Okay, you sent it to the principal.
And yeah, she was like, no, Preshi, you have to do it like this and like this and like this. You see, this is supposed to. So I was like,
there
like
was a lot of red ink.
Yeah, a lot of red ink. And I remember also there was an incident where I just sent an email to a client without showing my principal first, and I got into trouble. Oh my God. So I was like,
because it was not make sure. What did you say? Yeah, and I like that because I really remember how tedious it used to feel first sending an email to like your principal, and you are sure, okay,
this
I
is
know what I'm saying.
perfect.
And at some point you get confidence because you've been working on the matter for quite some time, and it feels like the client is always talking to you anyway or responding to you.
Yeah.
Hi, Tebelo, this is that. And in that moment, you just want to reply because you like, we in this, man. Let me just reply. Can't you know it must still go through your principal first, even though you've gained the confidence. So, yeah.
So I would, whenever I would make a mistake, I would beat myself up. So I was struggling with that. But luckily, my principal, oh my God bless that lady. She's a white lady, very supportive. I will forever be grateful for her. And I remember whenever there was this time I went for a watching brief at court, and I made a mistake with the names of the accused. One was there, one was not there. So I said the one that was there was not there, and vice versa, because I didn't know them. And then, I sent a feedback report to her, saying that, okay, this is what happened in court, all of that. And then she had to report to the client, because I went to a watching brief.
Yes.
It was us on
yes,
behalf of...
yes.
And then she was like, Precious, you got me into trouble. I looked like a fool.
Because the other accused,
I remember,
you had mixed it up.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, I am sorry. I am so sorry. She was like, you don't have to apologize. In law, you don't apologize. You fix your mistake. So from then I was like, okay, whenever I make a mistake, I don't have to beat myself up. We fix it. And then we move forward. So, yeah, man. It's a process of learning
and learning. Yeah, absolutely. And you, Mbali, you are like 6 months in now.
Yes. Yo.
Hey, how's it going? I know there
You know
at the start it was a little bit.
It was a bit shaky.
gravel.
And I think it was shaky because, like I said, when you're involved in student leadership, you feel like you have a certain level of competency, right? But like Precious
Feel
was
like
saying,
you're a leader.
Yeah, like that's who you're coming as. But like what Precious said, like when you go back to basics, even with drafting a letter, like the formatting that the firm wants and all of that. So it's little stuff like that. So it was tough in that respect. But for me, I think I don't really have the right to say that, articles are unbearable.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to be in a very positive working environment. And in fact, I was actually telling like my mom the other day, Hore, when you make a mistake and sometimes you think people are going to hold that against you until
and it's just yourself.
Exactly. It's just yourself, yes. So having to rise above that and show up again. Like, don't get tired of showing up again, you know, because your principal's not holding it against you. I think for me, like, I don't take for granted their patience to allow me to figure things out. Where I get it wrong, I'm corrected, and even having the tough conversations to be like, but we don't make mistakes like that, you know? And yeah, like I always say, like, the process of articles feels very confronting, you know, because you're coming with all that you think you are and all that you hope to be.
Yes.
But then being confronted with when you make certain mistakes, when you don't know how to approach a matter and all of that, it knocks your confidence a little bit, I'll be honest, right? But at the same time, I think what I'm realizing is that being a lawyer is not to say you necessarily have the answers, but it's honestly the commitment to finding the answers, being committed to the solution. So even when we get matters where you're like, yo, where do we start here? I've never been exposed to this area of law, and yet you are a candidate attorney. Don't just show up like a candidate attorney. You have to show up as a professional, you know? And for me, that's what I've been dealing with a lot, like, lately. Trying to not, like, oh, I'm just this little candidate attorney. I'm
just a baby.
I'm just a kid, you know? I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
But I'm showing up as a professional, you know? And you're not always going to get it right.
Yo.
But you have to at least try. And for me, that was the thing that made the difference. Like, I'd be scared to try. Actually, like, my principal asked me to do something recently, and I was like the panic crossed my face, like, how am I going to do that, you know? He literally said, don't panic. Do it. I'm not going to send it immediately to client. Do it, see how you do, and then we'll take it from there. And then I got it done. Like, and then the confidence that gives you, like, oh, wow, it actually was not as terrible as I thought it would.
You didn't die.
You didn't die, you know? But yeah, and then also just growing in your role as well, because it's not your first day anymore.
Yo.
Like, it's not your first
You can't
day.
keep leaning on, I'm new.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that anymore. So you have to grow within your role. So for me, that's what I've been trying to do. Like, not seeing myself as a little candidate attorney anymore, but actually, like, now showing up and trying to be more than I was on my first day. So yeah, it's a very interesting process, but it's not terrible.
Precious, how were you able to handle law school, working, writing board exams, and just being alive? Like,
By you just saying that,
you're feeling.
Okay. Luckily, my principal said that. Okay, she suggested that, you know what, I want you to write all the board exams at the same time. I'm going to pay for your law school, and don't worry, I believe in you. Yeah, so I was like, okay, she believes in me. Okay, it's fine. But it was hard.
I
Imagine
think it's
in
so
the morning.
great that you didn't do law school because it was expensive, and then your boss just saw.
Yeah,
you need to, obviously,
you know what?
you need to get it done,
Yeah.
but she then also paid for you
Without
Love
even
that.
asking.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that I had to go to law school. Like, isn't
Girl.
it's compulsory.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, okay, just do your 2 years of articles, then you're done. It's either if you're not gonna go to law school. So when she said, I'll pay for you for your law school, those compulsory classes and stuff.
Oh, you thought you either have to do law school or you have to do your articles. Not that
Exactly.
you still have to do law school
Exactly.
anyway. I
Exactly.
hear you.
So, when she suggested that she's going to pay, I was like, okay, no problem. Thank you so much. But it was hard. Imagine during the day you go to work, and then when you come back, I was attending the evening classes like Monday to Friday. And I had to show up every day. And I remember it was June and there's load shedding.
And it's cold.
It was horrible.
It's cold.
Yeah, and it's cold. There's load shedding. Like, there was a lot happening. But yeah, I had to find a way. You know, when you're left with no other choice but to be strong and fight and find a way. Yeah, that was me. I had to stop being that crybaby.
Yeah, I'm just the baby.
Yeah, I had to show up and be like, you know what, it's your future here. Whether you like it or not, everything is in your hands.
So, how long is law school? 6 months?
I attended for me, it was 2 months.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mine's 4 months.
2 months.
Yeah. Okay, why? Yeah. Why is they? I attended for 6 months, so that's why I'm just like, how now they've cut it in half.
I think think it actually maybe depends. Are you doing it full time? Because I'm doing full time night school. So
Full time 4 months. I
Yes.
did full time and it was still 6 months.
Really, I must talk to lead. I don't know.
I don't know.
And how come you did 2 months? That's interesting.
The manual, the
Because
manual
you
said
also
that-
did full time night school, right? Were you attending on weekends as well?
No, it was Monday to Friday. So I remember I started on the 8th of May and then I finished on the 29th of June.
And
I'm not
do you guys do
mistaken.
this through an institution or
Yeah, I did
Another
it through,
law
I
firm?
did it through Verts.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything was online and and then having to balance work and school, as in like me doing my masters. That was also not easy. But luckily, the law firm where I'm in, they're very supportive. So whenever I would say, I have an exam, they'll be like, okay, Preshi, go and study.
Take time off.
Go and study and all the best. And when I passed and graduated, everyone in the office was so happy for me. It
love
was like
that.
them seeing that little shy girl baby
Yeah,
and whatsoever
growing into
and
herself.
yeah, exactly. Because honestly, when I came there, I was shy. Plus it's white people. I'm used to be surrounded by black people.
Yeah, and I think that's also just something we should talk about more often, because it's also then a culture shock.
Yeah.
If you're not used to dealing with white and colored or other races all the
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah.
When you finally are confronted or get into those spaces, it does actually even give you a little bit of a confidence knock,
Yeah, yeah.
You unfortunately we already tend to have that inferiority complex as black
That's
people,
true.
right?
That's
So
true.
imagine getting there, you're the junior, you're black, you're a woman. There's a lot of things at play. It's
Yeah.
just this big culture shock, and just the shock of actually getting into the working environment from varsity, which you were attending your master's online, to now waking up every day.
Every day.
Like, it's a big shock to your
Yeah.
system. It's difficult. You have to find coping mechanisms and you just have to keep making a commitment to make it to the next day. Sure, how's it going with law school and work, and what are your coping mechanisms?
I think a coping mechanism is, it sounds toxic when I say this, but to just do it.
Yeah.
We can have a lot of conversations about how to best do it and, be soft on yourself and all those things. Sometimes you get to a point where you just realize it doesn't work. You have to do what you need to do at the time you need to do it. So for me, what works is to be like, okay, I need to be at work from 8 to 4. I can do that. Let me go to work, be there, do my best, 8 to 4. And then law school from 5 to 9. That's where I need to be. Show up for that, do that, and just go for it, Because I realized when I was like coddling myself and being like, no, but I'm, it's hard for me to transition and giving myself all the excuses in the book, then you don't show up fully and as you should, So it's actually a commitment to hard work. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I've realized that there's no code, you just have to do it.
Sure.
But for me, I would I have a very strong support system. So like every day I'm on the phone with my mom telling her what's going on.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding to be challenging, and we talk about that. Even with church, having my leader who I can talk to and how we navigate life. Because for me, it was a huge transition already going from varsity to work. Like you were saying, there's no more midday naps. Excuse me, I wasn't ready for that. Like, wow, I have to be up the whole time and have the energy to keep going. But yeah, so that transition was already a thing, and then adding law school into the mix when already I have work deliverables, and then now law school has assignments and exams as well. So I just realized that just do it. And then also, it's nice because law school, you sort of get to interact with other candidate attorneys, other people from different walks of life. So we all kind of just bond over that and try our best over that. So
Over the flames.
yes, over the flames that you're seeing. But ultimately, I think it develops a work ethic that's necessary. And also with law school, I would 100% recommend law school. Like I was like you, I also didn't know that it was compulsory. It was a matter of, this. So I actually applied to law school. I applied to law school because I wasn't getting articles. So I was like, okay, if I don't get articles, I'll do
law school
in the meantime. But at the same time, I was like, no, I'm going to get articles because I applied for law school in Johannesburg. And obviously at the time I was based in Boch. So I was very sure. I'm like, me, I'm going to Johannesburg.
That's all I know. Yeah.
So, God, I'm taking this leap of faith. I'm applying there because I know for sure it has to come through. And even if I don't, then I'll just have to travel from the Vaal home and go to law school there. So yeah, but law school, it's also a nice platform to kind of reinforce what you already know about the law. And now, like you're dealing with the real practical stuff at work, and then there's law school to kind of, again, like just make sure you're clear on certain things. And it's also nice because you can sometimes ask like your instructors about how to approach certain matters, you know, from a practical point of view. So I 100% recommend law school. It's tough, but it's necessary.
I like that you guys say you didn't even like know that you have to apply for law school. Because you guys are not the only one. Someone listening is like, yo, you know, is that what has to happen? Is that what has to happen? So thank you for just highlighting that, because there's a lot of people that don't know what's going on. Yeah.
And I think it's just the whole process of finish your degree, do articles, get admitted. Like you think that's the straight and narrow. Another thing I actually want to bring like light to is the fact that you actually really can't be like the director of a company or anything like that. Like your articles can't get registered if you are a director in a company or anything like that. So even those little details we take for granted and we don't know.
Yeah. But it always goes back to like, you know, doing the research.
Yeah.
You need to engineer your life. And part of engineering your life means that you have to do research, especially for the things that you want to achieve, you know? Sure. And then how did it go with board exams? Hey, I saw you guys crying by paper 3.
Yo, ship friend principal. Champeti.
I was like, what is this?
Oh my God.
That ethics paper knocked you guys out, hey?
Hey guys. Except for me.
Hey, you had to fight.
So, honestly, everything requires discipline.
Yeah.
As a person, you have to know who you are, where you come from, and what it is that you want. And if people are telling you that this is hard, choose to have your own experience.
Yes.
That's what I learned.
Yeah.
If
Because
you're-
we experience things differently. Hey?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Exactly.
you can't have that fear of not wanting to pursue something because they say it's hard. Everything is hard.
True.
Everything.
So, from my side, last year, 2023, I decided to write all 4 board exams. Imagine having to give all those 4 modules your focus.
Yeah.
I did my best, but then I passed 2 and then I failed 2. And for the first time in my life, I experienced academic failure. Yo, I cried.
It was a big shock to the system there.
Yo, I cried. I remember in the morning, I sent a screenshot of my results to my principal showing that I passed paper 1 and 2 and I failed paper 3 and 4. And then my principal was like, okay, no, it's okay, Preshi. And then she sent the results to the office manager. And then when I got in the office manager was like, Preshi, what happened? Yo, I started crying. Tears came out and I thought I was strong. But yeah, imagine having to deal with failure for the first time in your life. I'm used to passing. I'm used to getting distinctions. And what is this? It was hard.
I'm so entertained because
It was so hard.
it's still gonna get hard. So I'm entertained because that's the thing. Even when my youngest brother, he's recently graduated honors, but there was a time where he had failed, and it was early on in his studies, but he was coming from being head boy, wearing the white blazer, excelling academically in matric. It was him.
Yeah.
Then he got to varsity, and I think it was second year where he failed a module or something. And he was inconsolable. And, I just wanted to be like, dude, it's okay. No one cares. And no one cares.
Yeah.
The day you're admitted, I promise you, we're not going to care that you passed 2, failed 2, whatever.
Exactly.
We're not going to care about all of that. I always say to myself, today when I go to a specialist, when I go to a gynae, I don't ask, did you pass, did you fail? I know that I'm going to a gynae and it ends there, you know. When someone is going to be performing surgery on you, you're not like, can I see your transcript from varsity? So eventually no one cares. So I'm laughing because you were devastated and I get it. You're still going to see flames. So you must save your tears, man.
Oh my word. But
Yeah,
imagine I have to carry on with my day. I'm at work
Yeah,
and I'm
shame.
crying. They had to buy me a chocolate.
Oh.
Those people are so nice.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, they bought me a chocolate. I was like, thank you, but still it changes
But I didn't
nothing.
pass.
Yeah, oh my God. Even when I
Okay.
was like on my way home, tears would just come out.
Shame.
Oh, that was hard. That was hard.
How
But
did you
then-
pick the pieces up and just continue and find motivation to study for the next, exam seating?
Yeah, I spoke to some of my friends who also failed certain modules once upon a time. They were like, no, man, you'll pass. Things happen for a reason. And that's actually true. Things do happen for a reason because after realizing that I failed, I was like, I need someone to mentor me. What is this? I am so down. So I remember I was scrolling through through Instagram, and then I saw Sister Bell. I was like, you see? So yeah, things do happen for a reason, and for some weird reason, through that, I what's the word? I became motivated again.
Yes.
I was like, look at her. Come on, girl, you can do it. And besides, who will want to be motivated and hear your story and relate to your story if everything for you was smooth?
Perfect, right?
So,
Shame
yeah.
you've been failing, guys.
Yeah, it's okay.
See, so even the people that you look up to, like us, they fail. We fail.
It's part of life.
It's part of life.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So this year I started. I started studying again. I had to write again those 2 exams, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it my best shot. So for ethics, I started to get a distinction. I fought a good fight, but
You
then
did, shame.
I honestly thought I failed because that paper was so hard. It was so hard, and I remember when I came back to work, my principal was like, "How did you write?" I was like, yeah, we'll see. But it was bad. It was bad. I didn't expect shipprint principle. It was the first time in my life.
Now you're never gonna forget it. I
I'll
can hear that trauma. It keeps
never.
coming back. You're never gonna forget it now.
And the Champeti rule, what was that? I remember I went to the junior attorney and I was like, Michelle, have you heard of the Champeti rule before? Or have you heard of the shipprint principle before? She was like, what's that?
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah.
And then they expected us to pass. What?
So
yeah.
there's something going on. Hey, they by LPC, they need to tell us what's going on. Because these exams are starting to kick. Kick.
It
Are
was
you gonna sit for, when is it? September? August.
No, I'm not sitting for the August. I'm going to sit for March, but I'm going to do all 4. So I'm also mentally preparing, but also like taking my time to actually make sure I understand or study as hard as I can, you know, because I realized also when I got to practice that some things that you thought you understood, it actually doesn't work like that, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why like law school supplementing, it really helps and sets things straight. So I want to make sure like I have all my ducks in a row, and then when I go right, I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna sit for all 4.
Yeah.
Do my best and hopefully pass. And I've seen people pass.
It's not impossible.
It's not
It's
impossible,
not.
you know. And like what you said, like we don't all have the same experience. So for me, my life has been a constant thing of not having the conventional experience of how people go through stuff, you know. For example, someone will say, your varsity was the hardest thing ever for me or whatever. I found I honestly always have my own experience. It's the same with articles. A lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about their article. I don't, you know, and I thank God for that. And it's the same again with boards. I really believe I'm going to pass, and I'm going to put in the work to pass. So yeah, guys, don't hold me to it though.
I was gonna say, man, I want to watch this specific snippet next year when you know what? I know that it's not impossible, and I know you ladies are here because you are hard workers. I sort of now have first-hand experience of the lovely things that you guys are doing. I'm so happy that you also just believe in the Sustain Law Mentorship program, because
I mean,
because I feel like your life is in my hands, and I need to make sure that I produce some good, legal practitioners in you guys. And I
Yeah.
honestly believe that you guys are going to do so well in life. Any advice, closing remarks for, people going through, students, or somebody who's just started articles, or somebody who's feeling very demotivated because they failed, or they are not getting articles, they're just feeling like, why must I even bother?
Okay, I'd like to say keep on pushing. Don't forget why you started doing this in
Yeah.
the first place.
Yeah.
And as I said, everything happens for a reason. If you fail, dust yourself and keep going. From my experience, I failed paper 3 the first time and bookkeeping as well. But then I kept on pushing. Now I'm going to get admitted. So you see,
Yeah.
you
don't
just-
die.
You don't die. I didn't die. I'm here. And guys, keep on pushing. It's possible. Always remember the reason why you started.
Your why.
Yeah.
I love that. Mbali?
Sure. I don't even know where to start. I think just it's okay to go back to the drawing board
Yeah.
more times, like as many times as you need, because sometimes, like I said, your confidence gets knocked and all of that, but you have to keep picking yourself back up again, and sometimes, like with me, and applying for articles and all of that, sometimes it's going back to the drawing board, is even looking at your CV again. Is there no spelling mistake that you missed? Like, how can you constantly better yourself even in the trenches of what you're going through, So to all my new professionals, pay attention to detail.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Triple check yourself in all you're doing, and just have hope for who you're going to become. Like, if you look back on your journey already, from high school to varsity to wherever you are in your journey, like, who you continue to become is always going to happen. It's inevitable. So I think hold on to that, and eventually it will work out. It always works out.
It always works out.
Sorry, in addition to what she said, I'd like to also put it out there that it's very important as a person to focus on yourself and not compare yourself with other people, because comparison is very dangerous. So focus on yourself and stay focused. Everything will work out.
Yeah, we don't have the same journeys. Ladies, such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. I wish you the very best. I personally have no doubt, guys. Like, come on, I only stood winners. So I know you ladies are gonna win. It's been a very, very amazing session with you ladies, and all the best for your futures, and can't wait to see you at the admission day. I'm gonna be there.
Thank you. You have to be there. You guys have to be
No,
there.
we need to be there. We need to be there. And thank you to you, Austabello. Like, we don't take for granted the work that you put in into inspiring us. Seeing you post those things every day, to seeing like you sitting down studying and I'm sleeping. You inspire so much. The sister-in-law platform, the women who sit on this couch and all of that. Like, we're inspired by the work that you do. It's not in vain. Like,
Thank you
please
so
keep
much,
going.
ladies.
And we're very inspired by you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At home, if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. And don't forget to share with your loved ones. Until next time, goodbye.